We're live.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sage Saturdays. This is I'm calling it the slow down version of Sage Saturdays. Thanks for showing up today. I know there's a lot going on in probably everyone's internal world. There's a lot going on in the external world. And what we're going to do today is just have a chance to sit with ourselves today. I'm going to do a little bit of a teaching to begin with. We're going to have any questions and answers or just questions. We'll just question today, and really the theme for today that we're going to bring in and I'll teach about is allowing. 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 So we will have some sound bowls. We'll do an attunement after the teaching and the questions and answers. Just so you know, during the sound bowl time, it's best to put in headphones so that you're only hearing the sound of the bowls. So that's one piece. And then the second piece of this that I want you to know is that we're here just together at this time to really help each other regulate, to feel our own selves, to feel our own bodies. And I know that that can be difficult at times because a lot of feelings can come up, a lot of emotions, a lot of mental thoughts, and a lot of somatic, a lot of physiological feelings can come up during this time. We're all going through all of that together as a collective. We're here to help regulate some of those feelings. So what I want the space to be is one, safe in what we're creating here. And I know safety is a word that's really thrown around a lot. But safety is partly what we create together, but also the resources that we have inside of ourselves and that we know help us from externals. For example, so the resources we have inside of ourselves, and I'll just go right into the teaching actually today about allowing, is as we start to understand and feel what's happening in the body, right? Because we have the stories that we tell, we have the thoughts that make us on a certain track, right? On this belief system. So we're going to pause from that. We're going to notice it, and we're going to take a pause. And then we're going to notice what's going on inside this system, inside the nervous system, inside the physiological system. Are we feeling extreme heat? Are we feeling coolness? Are we feeling tension in certain parts? Are we feeling a sense of fullness? Are we feeling a sense of emptiness? So what we're really going to get down to allowing those physiological feelings to come up, because we are going through a traumatic experience right now. We're going through it individually, we're going through it collectively, we're also individually going through whatever past traumas that have been in our physiological system that can be coming up, that those somatic feelings can be arising during this time, which can sometimes make our interactions with each other difficult or based on those past feelings that haven't been resolved, those past physiological and somatic experiences that haven't made that their way to completion. So back to that idea of safety is what in our system can we do if we start to feel overwhelmed, right? I know for some of the, even just us, if we're not out there doing the healthcare working, overwhelm can be a feeling that just immediately hits us and we don't even know how we got there. And all of a sudden we're reacting and we have different emotions that are being put outside of us. And we want to allow those things to come up, but we also want to allow ourselves, if that's feeling overwhelmed, to pause and stop for a moment, to come back to this system we have here. Yes, we are energetic beings, but we're sitting in this physical structure, in this physical body, to be able to utilize it. And it allows us to have those feelings and sensations that we can come back to really help us regulate. So that might be a breath as we stop and we pause. That might be feeling another part of my body, a hand, an arm, really just sensing the physical structure of where I am in the present moment. We have a lot of ideas of coming back to this present moment, but how do we do that in this physical structure? Well, we come back to our actual physiology. We come back to what we somatically feel. So in that moment of feeling overwhelmed, if I'm feeling that heaviness or pressure in my chest, or I'm feeling that tension in my neck or my jaw, or if I'm just starting to feel really hot, how do I come back to a place that might feel good, okay, not bad? That might be in the tip of my little pinky. That might be in the tip of my nose. That might be in some other piece of my beingness. And I can feel the ground. I can get to that space where I start to begin to orient myself to what's around here right now. Because right now what I notice is I have a sleeping dog over there with her eyes closed. I'm sitting and I can feel the softness and the color of what's underneath my sit bones. And then all of a sudden I start to notice that I have a breath that I become more present here with. Because right here, there's nothing coming at me. There is no danger. I'm just in a room that has a soft light that sometimes isn't bright enough to see things with. I see curtains that are a color of yellowish, orange. And that's what I see and I feel around me. So I'm back in the present moment. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to move in and out of those feelings of remembering that I may have lost my job last week and what's coming up from that. And that is still present, that is still an experience. But coming back to here gives us a foundation and a grounding to come back to what's going on in the other parts of my life with a different sort of resiliency. So we're going to just come back to allowing. Because we often shut down all of those feelings and sensations. So I want you to know that it's safe to allow that to come up, to find those internal resources, and also to find that there's those external resources. For some that may be reading, for some that may be watching a Netflix show, for some that may be going out and doing a lot of gardening, for some that may be sitting with their animal, for some that may be just going outside for a moment to breathe one breath of air and feel one drop of rain, or feel a ray of sun on their face, or to look up and to see the tree that's waving in the wind right at that moment. So we've got those resources. So I want you to know that those are there, and you'll continue to build those up. This is a practice. If you haven't practiced it before, this is a great time to practice it. Okay? So let's come back to awareness. Remember, we're pausing. This is a slow down Saturday. So we're in those moments we feel overwhelmed. We remember to pause. And you may not remember this every time. This may take doing it 100 times a day, literally. And that's okay. And that may be for a day, a week, a month, 6 months that we have to practice it that much. But you'll notice as you practice, it starts to become part of your neurological system, your physiological system, your energetic system, your mental system. So it's a practice, okay? And there's no right or wrong. This doesn't have to be done in any particular way. Right? It's just finding those resources, pausing, coming back to this system. Okay. So if I sit here and just notice some of the things that are coming up for me, there's a bit of sadness that starts to come up through my heart and my throat. And I'm just going to sit and allow that. Just notice and allow that. And then it starts to bring some heat and warmth to my arms and my neck and the surrounding area. I'm going to allow that because it doesn't feel overwhelmed yet. But as I allow those things to come through, it's able to move through my system. So I would like to invite you during this time we're going to spend together to allow what comes up as long as it feels okay. And I want you to ask, does this feel okay for me? Because if it doesn't, you come right back to where you are. If it feels okay, there's no prescription that you have to do. You're checking in with yourself. And this is about your timeline and your space and your needs and your safety. So this is about you, because once we learn to regulate us, we also help to regulate everyone else around us, because that's what we're doing. We bring that into the collective. So let's talk a little bit about, and if there's any questions, let me know. Let's talk a little bit about the bowls. I will tell you, I am not a musician. I can't even sing a note. And sometimes I think, I'm not a musician. What am I doing with these? I'm not a musician. And for so many years, like, I had a harmonium. I've got a didgeridoo. I'm not a musician though, but and I'm honestly not that great at the didgeridoo. I can never get the circular breathing, and I don't really get notes or how they go together. But I love the opportunity to be able to find a voice through tone, because it's a sound. And for me, voice and sound have been limited in my life. So this is a resource for me to start to open up and move through bringing voice back. So sound bowls, which anyone can do. There's no prescription of how to do them. Yeah, sure, you can go to school. I mean, I've gone to school for everything under the sun. I've got a master's in this, a doctorate in that, but it doesn't make me any different than anyone else. I am interested in learning, but learning happens with experience. So I went and I was like, I'm just going to experience this and see what happens. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to allow the sound to create itself. And every time I do these, it does create itself, because I can hear when each of the sounds say, oh, no, I'm not ready yet, or no, and it'll come up and then it will dissipate and disappear. So what we get to do with this is to allow this sound. So before we start this piece, and before we start the attunement piece, because what I'll do is I will have some voice, I will have some talking throughout this as well, and we'll go for, 15-20 minutes or so with this piece. Usually the bowls tell me how long, and we'll know how long. But are there any questions before this that you'd like to ask, that you're curious about? Because I'll tell you, often at the end of these things, because we're in a different frequency, literally, we're in a different frequency than we were when we started, we may not be able to get back to that mind piece, that our analytical piece, that frontal brain piece, because we're really working here also with the limbic system and with the reptilian brain, those basic pieces that deal with our safety and our security and our stability and our emotions. So it can be more difficult to form questions after this, which is why I like to ask before. So does anyone have any questions? fine if you don't, because this is just about an experience together.
I was wondering, how can I integrate crystals and sage with the sound bowls while wearing headphones?
So if you want to just put some crystals on your body, if you're going to lie down, and you can be in any position for this and change any position, because we want to be able to allow the body to move as it needs. But if there are some crystals that you feel are connected with this moment, go ahead, if you're lying down, put them on your body, or if you're sitting down, you can put them on parts of your body that you feel like are calling for that energy, because we're working with the body. So use those crystals on the body. I don't actually use sage that much, just because the smoke is a little too much for my system, but you can start that going and place that in a dish or by the altar or in a space that it can continue to clear it.
For those of us without bowls, but we enjoy sound healing, what's a resource to obtain bowls?
So I think it's her website. Her name is Shakti. All these bowls come from her. She's been going to Nepal for the last 25 years, and she handpicks each of these, and she knows all of the villages, and she knows everyone. So this is not just buying, and there is so much to these, because there are different metal types, and these are different, a lot of these are antiques as well. You can buy new bowls. I think it's called bodhisattva.com.
Mm-hmm. Bodhisattva Trading Company.
So she is the one I honestly wouldn't just buy a bowl off the street or from a website. You want to know, again, it's like crystals. You really want to know who's sourcing them. And she knows everything about sound bowls and sound, and she's available, and she's just a wonderful being. We've gone to her house, because she lives in LA, and have chosen, I have a set of 15 bowls. So that's a great one to start with. And the thing is, start with just one, and the newer ones aren't that expensive. So maybe one or two more.
Do we need anything other than ourselves?
Do we really need anything other than ourselves? Really, that's the question. And just in general, do we really need anything other than ourselves? Because we are the vehicle for feeling. I mean, yeah, we came out of this earth, and it's great to have a vacuum and a table, but really, do we really need anything other than ourselves? We don't.
Moxie will share a post later. We'll share a story with the link to it. Hello. Can sound bowls make you too ungrounded? Is there a max time one can be exposed to them?
They do put you in a different frequency than you were before. It depends on your grounding skills after. Because we'll play the sound bowls, and remember, grounding is just feeling this physical structure in the here and now, in this physical present space. So some of the techniques that I was talking about, you can use those afterwards to come back. We use grounding, it's another word that we throw around, but just come back to this present space, this moment, this now. And actually you'll come back with a multitude of frequencies when you come back. You'll come back different than you were before.
And there are some of the bowls, some of the tones that I find actually are grounding themselves versus the
And
opposite.
that depends on each person.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is going to connect with a different frequency.
Do sound bowls help with the same things that binaural beats do?
It's similar. We only actually have one microphone right now. Well, there's one there. So binaural beats requires 2 microphones, because it's going through both ears and it's working with both the right and left hemispheres. Does sound and frequency work with both hemispheres? Absolutely, yes. But it's just different. Binaural beats are also at a frequency that we can't physically hear like we can listen to music. It's at a different frequency, so it sort of underlies. when you hear something that says binaural beats, they usually always have like bird sounds or something else so that it's pleasant, because those levels, when you hear just that frequency, is to me oddly unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something else surrounding it. And just as a side note, it's like we as humans need the window dressing. And so many of my mentors have taught me this. Because I always say, why can't I just do this? Why do I have to like do a teaching? Can't we just go into the energetic realms and that's where the healing happens? And yes, but because we're in this physical form, we need the window dressing. I think that is the binaural beats are those frequencies that we're always hearing frequencies, no matter if we actually hear them or not. But the things that our frontal lobe hears, that gets processed, and so we need those pieces.
The binaural beats, from what I understand, it's two separate types of beats that,
Yes.
as the sound waves hit each other, basically create almost like a third beat between them, and then that merging of the two, the ripples hitting each other, is what is affecting the brain.
Yeah.
And so I will also say, with any type of sound, whether it's sound bowls, when you have multiple ones with different frequencies playing, we are naturally creating binaural beats. Because the sound waves are literally hitting each other.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on sound bowls made of quartz?
I don't use them. I know, but I have years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I remember going to Mount Shasta, and the first time I saw these sound bowls that you're talking about that also have crystals in them. I forget the name of it, but and they were just new, and this one person had them in Mount Shasta, and it's definitely amazing, and it really is whatever you're drawn to. For me, and I think if you've been with Sage for a while, I like the metal pieces. I find them grounding for me because they've got a bunch of different metals in there, and so for me these feel more earthy. So it really just depends on what you're drawn to, but I know they're very popular. We always see them now at the gem shows as well. So, and those are available, and it's pretty cool because and I've had one before, which I gave away. I hope she's using it. I forgot about that.
What bowl is a good starter bowl, and how do you learn to use them properly?
A good starter bowl is one that you're drawn to. You're just drawn to the frequency. Like this one, no matter what, I always have this one. And I don't know why, but I do. So, and she's actually got stuff online that you can listen to. She's recorded all of them. So it's the one that you're drawn to. That's the thing. Just listen to see what your own frequency
Resonates.
feels, how it starts to feel calming. And you can just use it as part of any practice. I mean, it's fun. It's another tool. Again, I said, I'm not a musician.
I've seen some people put water in their bowls. What does that do?
Yes, and I also work in the water when I do unwindings, and when I do some of the trauma work. I do Watsu work with people in the water, and some of these I don't bring in just because they have these nice little stickers in them, so I don't want to bring them in there. But you can absolutely do that. Because water amplifies things. I mean, we can do a whole nother thing. Let's actually do another one on water, and we'll talk more about that, because water holds all of the codes that have been, ever will be, or are at the moment, and information in this world and in all the other worlds. It's a pretty incredible transmitter. So besides air, which is a good transmitter, water is an incredible frequency transmitter. So, all right.
Sorry, they keep asking for that.
Got it. Okay, so, and you can always email or IG message, whatever it is. It always gets confusing for me, those things. Any other burning questions?
Please do a water one.
Yeah, let's do a water one. That'd be good.
Okay, so any other questions?
You can always ask them
Yeah.
through the messaging things.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take a minute or two to allow yourself to get in position or comfortable. Oh, that took longer than I thought. Okay. Remember, you don't have to stay in that position if it's not comfortable. It's starting to get overwhelming. Move your body. I'm all about movement as well. So move if you need to. Change if you need to. Close your eyes or open your eyes. Switch off, because sometimes when we're closing your eyes it gets too intense. Open your eyes and orient yourself. So use the tools that we've talked about that you may already have during this time. Good, so allowing yourself to get comfortable. Remember, put in earphones if you have them. Okay. Put these on so I can see. Alright. I want you to just step into this time, this next 15 or 20 minutes together. And again, you can end this when you need to. Do what you need to do. Let's just step into a moment of feeling our physicalness. And again, I want to remind you, these are just directions. These are just guidance. There's no need to do this, because a lot of times I'll start off with this and it's hard for me to get into my physical structure. So just remember that it's about allowing. So let's allow ourselves what is here in this present moment for you right now. If movement is calling you, if breath is calling you, if stillness is calling you, if sound, energy, and if nothing is calling you. Allow that, if that's okay, to just be. And I want you to know throughout this, I am here. I'm not going anywhere. And you are safe. You are held. Allowing yourself to drop in. Allowing the self to feel the moments, the sensations, the understandings, the experiences of the now. Sensing what is around. On this journey together. rising and falling. Rising and falling. Feeling all those parts that are calling to be seen. Into those waves. The emotions. That heart center that starts to engage and fill and send out those waves of energy. That anticipation. That feeling, that wanting. That connection to the greater one. That calling. That calling that we feel coming out of us and coming back into us. And the knowing that we are here. Together with that support. With that delicious love that can be felt in this moment, feeling in this body, in this physicality. In this space together. our spirit with that gentle smile within. As we ease into this new space, not knowing what it looks like, but having that capacity for deep, deep joy. Love. Where is it taking us? While still holding that space on this earth grounded. Where you desire to move into. Whether you know and have a picture of that in your mind's eye, or whether there's an uncertainty and a waiting and a holding. Holding together in safety, compassion, that innate love that we experienced and were before coming here. Pausing. Pausing for that moment. As that light starts to move out, and we start to feel this softness. We coming closer together. We hold each other closer together. We hold each other just a little tighter. Being held also by our ancestors, our galactic families, our tribes. So we start to develop this new connection of our spirits to these physical bodies. They say that this is the now, that this is the time. That they are here for the support. That we need, that we call on them for. But to trust in our experience of ourselves, of our fully embodied selves. As it continues to come up understanding, allowing. And they are here with that knowing. That we have come with full capacity and knowing as individuals and as a collective that we are healed, that our hearts are full. And as the questionings come up, we bring them up, we hold them, we allow. So this becomes a journey of the one. As we move in closer. We feel that grand capacity of healing and love within ourselves, which is what they want, which is what they hope for us. And all that is present, all sensations, all emotions, all feelings, all experiences in this moment are welcome. How do you welcome them? How do you bring them with awareness and self-compassion and self-love? Pausing. As we continue into this moment, feeling where we are on the journey. To sense energy moving, we are here together, staying here, staying on the top of this mountain together as a group, as we look out, seeing that view, seeing that higher perspective. Take a moment to look at your view, your perspective. Knowing that what is surrounding us, all of that, anything we hear right now in this physical is all part of this one experience. Integrating it. Listening. Accepting all that is in this moment, in this now. Take as much much time as you need on the top of this mountain. Sit, move, as you are ready, when you are ready, if you are ready. As you enjoy that fruit, that fruition, know that this is now part of your integration, part of your embodiment in this physical. And as maybe a moment before you feel ready, start to move. Start to experience a next step as we move on. Noticing who is holding your hands. Noticing who is behind you. Noticing what energy is in your heart, if any. And I ask that we move together as a group. As we start to make our way back into this physical structure, into this now moment, we will start that journey back. Calling on the guides that you wish to bring in, to walk down this mountain with you. Into your new beingness. And I say that with all of the excitement and joy and wonder and awareness. And as you start to experience those sensations, whatever they may be, we're going to take this last moment to pause again. To pause. To allow, because this newness may also bring up things that may feel uncomfortable. Moving on that wave. Inhabiting a new beingness, feeling that. Are there spots that feel good in this new beingness? Are there spots that feel okay in this new beingness? Are there spots that feel not bad? Finding those spots as we come back to our individual physical beings. Taking these next few moments together. Feel your physicality, to move your physicality, I'd like you to start opening up your eyes into this new space. I'd like you to start Feeling your new beingness on this floor, on this couch, on this chair. Feeling your back bodies up against that surface. Feeling whatever part of you can feel. In this physical realm. In this physical body, these muscles and this skin. As you look around, what do you see? What colors? What structures? What temperatures do you feel? Back into this body. Welcome back. We've got just a couple minutes left for our hour. Welcome back. I'd like you to take these next few moments for your own grounding, your own self. Maybe even the next few minutes after we're off of this call, to just take a moment to reorient yourself to this space, to your space. Before you move out into other people, we know that water is essential now. It helps integrate what's happened physiologically, because we have had a physiological and biological change, not just energetic. We've had a mental shift. This integration may take time. It may take a few minutes. It may take a few hours. It may take a few days or a few weeks. And I want you to just notice what comes up for you during this time. Because remember, we're allowing. So I want you to take that theme with you. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts or experiences that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. I'm not on my Instagram, but maybe I'll try and get back on. We'll definitely be posting this on YouTube. I'm going to try and get my website back up and I can post it on there so you can re-listen to this, because you can re-listen to this anytime you need, any part of it. Your system will hear it what it needs in that moment anytime. So you can utilize this for time immemorial. It will be around for you to use that. I'm hopefully going to be doing some more of these, or some of this work that I'll post on my website to download. Thank you for being here and sharing with us together. And I want to say that you guys did great today. You did really good. So pat yourself on the back if you're able to do that. If you feel comfortable having someone else do that, ask them to do that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you holding space for me as well. We will be back next Saturday with another Sage Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Until then, be well and hold yourself in deep compassion, love, and joy.